Welcome to the guest lounge on the Willie J Show on Gospel City 24/7. Be entertained, informed, and edified on Saturday morning's talk radio show, the Willie J Show on Gospel City 24/7. And now, and now, and now, with today's guest, here is the man himself, Mr. Willie J.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to the guest lounge on the Willie J Show with your host, Willie J. And I have here with me today a wonderful young lady by the name of Flavia Beswick. And we will be talking together about her life and her music. So welcome to the show, Flavia.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
Okay, we are happy you are here. And I want to start by asking you where in Jamaica did you originate from, and also to tell us a little bit about your childhood life.
All right. Well, I'm originally from Kingston, and I moved right after college to live in the western side of Jamaica. In terms of my childhood, well, I was always a hyperactive child. I loved playing, so bicycles, jungle gym, the whole works. I was in the midst of all the ramping, as we would say in Jamaica. Um, I grew up around music. My father sings a bit, even though he doesn't do it publicly. My mom sings as well, and she plays the guitar and a little keyboard.
Okay.
And yeah, morning worship. When I would go to my grandparents' house, they would have morning worship, and so you're around gospel music for the bulk of it, as well as a lot of singing. I grew up listening to Celine Dion and Whitney and,
Yes.
Dolly Parton. The first cassette I bought was a Dolly Parton cassette. Most
Okay.
people don't know. People my age don't know who that is.
Yes, yes.
But I loved her music. And yeah, growing up, I was a part of the children's choir, my school choir. I went to JCDC with the school,
Okay.
and most of my years are very saturated with music. I've always been in music.
Yes, yes, that's what I'm seeing. Yes. So you said your father sung, well, in the home, and your mother sung too. Did she sing at church?
She sings at church occasionally, but like Daddy, most of the singing happens at home.
At home, probably when she was washing or cooking and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay. I asked that because I remember a song by another artist singing about when her mother was washing and singing.
hmm
Yes, yes. So, you, as you said, got introduced to music pretty early in an informal manner. Um,
Yeah.
yes, so do you play any instruments? Your mother played the guitar and a little keyboard. Did you learn any instrument?
Well, I started learning the guitar as a result of mommy, and so currently most times when I sing, I do at least one song with the guitar. I
Okay.
play I
Mhm.
play the keyboard to an extent. I will say I'm as good at it as I am with the guitar.
Okay.
But I can help myself.
All right. So,
Yeah,
mhm.
and I have a little knowledge of the cello, but that's been a while, so I probably couldn't take it up and start playing. And
Okay.
a little knowledge in the saxophone.
Wow, you have been moving around with the instruments, man.
Well, I went to Edna Manley College, so as a music education student, you had to learn certain
Okay.
things.
Oh, so that's the college you went to because I had in mind to ask you which college you went to. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah, Edna Manley.
tell me about the time at Edna Mandley. I interviewed an artist recently who learned classical piano and he's doing dancehall music now. Tell me about your time at Edna Mandley.
Okay, well, at Edna, well, firstly, I started right out of high school. When I started college, I was pretty young. I was probably one of the youngest in my age group. And
Wow. Mm-hmm.
but it is not like I wasn't going to go to sixth form because I had no reason to go there. I already knew what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So applied for Edna Manley, got through. Um, of course, everybody has their struggles with college.
Yes.
You know, the various assignments, being able to balance your time and stuff. But I met a lot of cool people, and it helped me vocally because we have what's called the principal instrument, which is a one-on-one session
Mm-hmm.
with your tutor
Yes.
for the instrument that I have. And it helped me a lot vocally because when I went into Edna, I actually had a rasp. Most people don't know that. So they hear me singing, but they didn't know that I had a raspy voice, so they just started college.
Okay.
Um, I I also stayed to myself, even though talked to I talked to a lot of people, but I was always you'd find me one away sometimes, just lost in thought,
Okay.
taking in everything around me. I like admiring God's creation.
Okay.
Granted, I don't do it as much as I used to,
Yes.
but when I was in college, definitely I had moments where I would just sit by myself and just soak it all in. Um, and yeah, I enjoyed the experience. College always has its struggles, but I learned a lot, and as a result, I'm now teaching at the secondary level, teaching music.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So, um, tell me now, I'm interested to find out how you got rid of the raspy voice, as you call it.
Oh, good vocal technique is you start learning how to place your voice properly. You start learning how to breathe properly. A lot of the times, our breathing, because we don't practice proper breath control, it affects our
Uh-huh.
voice.
Yes.
And practice choosing the right songs and the right key,
Yes, that,
uh, and as well as warming up, stuff like that. After a
yes.
while, correcting some of the bad habits that I had kind of changed how my voice sounded
Yeah, so
after a while.
you would actually warm up before you sing each time.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I I really understand the part about um, choosing the right songs for your voice and the right keys because I hear a lot of persons sing many times and do themselves much injustice because they choose wrong songs, and they try to sing them in the wrong keys. So, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so when you sing, then some amount of formal training goes into your approach to singing.
Definitely.
Okay, okay. All right, that's interesting. So, how did you decide before going to Edna Mandel that you wanted to sing professionally, or it happened along the way? In other words, did you go with teaching in mind, and find yourself in the singing too, or you had in mind to do singing before you went?
Well, to be honest, I actually wanted to do music production, but it wasn't a course that the college offered. So
Okay.
the closest thing to what I wanted to do was music education, which allowed me to have a more in-depth understanding of music, the
Okay.
psychology, the psychology aspect of it in terms of students and how they respond to music and the
Yes.
different theorists and stuff.
Yes.
It gave me a more in-depth appreciation and knowledge of the area. But in terms of singing, uh, I was singing before that, but I didn't have solo singing in the forefront of my mind. I think that's a better way to put it.
Yes.
Because I was singing in a group at the time. I was always behind the scenes. So if I did sing at school, I was doing supporting vocals, except for when we had graded assignments.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So, how did you decide to do solo singing?
It's more like it was decided for me.
Okay. Tell us the
God kept
story. Yes.
God kept pushing me in a particular direction, and one thing I've learned is that when God makes His plans, if it is that He really needs you to fulfill that particular purpose, it's going to keep coming back.
Yes.
Whether it's somebody saying it to you or you just end up in situations that have to do with it, it's always going to be there, kind of like a Jonah situation. You know, Jonah tried to
Yes.
escape
Yes. Uh huh.
what he was sent to do, and then he ended up in a fish. So
Yes.
it's like you can't escape it. For me, it's something similar. Of course, not as extreme as Jonah,
Uh huh.
but it always resurfaced. People would always say to me that I should have been doing the performance course, um, and I have really good stage presence and different things, and so as a result, eventually I made a decision to take myself out of that box and
Uh
enter
huh.
the JCDC competition, which was really a change for me, but in a good way.
Okay, but then I suppose in the earlier days you entered in a group, but you were not new to JCDC based on what you told me earlier, because you had entered
Well,
previous
yes,
competitions.
yes, I would have entered in high school and in primary school. In high school, I actually entered a solo piece.
Okay,
Um, it didn't go to nationals though, but I did go to the second round. I did I Look to You by Whitney Houston.
okay, wow.
Uh,
Uh huh.
yeah, but then after that, you know, most of the singing was group, and if I did sing solo, it would have been at church. It wasn't in a professional setting.
Okay, okay. So, when you went to JCDC for the song final, the Jamaica Gospel Song Finals, um,
Hmm.
how did you really feel about that? Were you nervous? Were you unsure, or did you go believing that you were going to come through?
I guess it's a mixture of all of that. um, for me, especially in the beginning stages, I would get nervous before, and I'd probably sit in a corner and wait until it's my turn.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and I would find myself just a space where there's nobody and just try to calm myself.
Uh
But
huh.
usually when I reach on the stage, there's a difference.
Okay.
I feel at home.
Okay.
Um, in terms of the whole, you know, competition spirit, you know, wanting to go in there to win and everything.
Yes.
Of course, everybody who enters a competition wants to
The
win,
win. Yes.
but that wasn't my. main goal.
Okay.
My main goal was one, taking myself out of the box that I was in, the shell that I was so comfortable in.
Yeah.
And the other thing was I wanted to get my music out there. And at the time, it was the best option that I could think of to really network, meet a lot of people in the industry, as well as just have people know that, hey, Flavia Beswick exists, and she has content that she really wants to share with everybody, and she really thinks it's going to bless you all.
Uh,
So for me, it was one of those moments where I just wanted to share my music with everybody.
okay. And it worked out. The Lord blessed you, and it worked out in your favor.
Definitely. I mean, I didn't win, but
Yes.
I never stopped.
You got the
So after the
exposure.
competition,
Uh-huh.
I kept going. Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
So, outside of JCDC, when did you record your first song?
The year after I released God Will,
Uh huh.
so that was 2018. I released God Will, and that one seems to be a favorite. I realized most people love that particular one. So that was the first song I released, God Will.
Okay. And after that,
After that, I've been constantly releasing music at the beginning of the year. Of course, some others would come in the mid part of the year, but usually I start off the new year with a new song. Hopefully I can keep that going, God's willing.
okay.
But so there was God Will, then there was Give You All the Praise. This year I released a song called Dew,
Uh huh.
and there are some others that were released within after once the year started to progress.
Yes.
So I have about 6 or 7 songs out.
Okay. And I think we have all of them here, and we play them quite regularly because they are lovely songs. Um,
Bless you. Thank
yes. So tell me now, the songs that you sing, how do you, and that you release, do you determine which song you are going to sing? Are they songs that you write yourself, or do you get songs from others, and how do you choose which song is the song for the moment?
A lot of it is decided prayerfully,
Yes.
because even though I can do it, most of the songs that have been released are songs that God had deposited um, in me. So I would hear a melody and I
Mm-hmm.
start singing it, or I'm going through something and then I hear a song, or I'm sleeping and then I probably see myself on the stage singing something, you know.
Yes. And you wake up
So,
and
so,
remember it.
so yeah, yes, because if you don't record at the same time, it's going to go away.
Yes. Yes.
So, a lot of it is through inspiration,
Yes.
and then of course, if God is at the forefront of everything, He will definitely guide you as to which songs to release, what
Yes.
is good for the season. Even if you don't see it yet, as long as you're obedient to God, it will always be relevant.
Yes. And so you say most of them are basically inspiration or revelation in a sense.
Yes.
So do you do any out of life experiences though, or not
Well,
so far?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
I mean, most creatives, because the art that they have is because of what they go through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, God Will was one of those songs, and well, most of them they are personal. They are personal to me, but they weren't. They weren't written to say, all right, I'm going through this. I'm just going to start writing.
Uh-huh.
It's
Okay.
more like I'm going through this, and then God starts to whether
Or
comfort
lays
me
on your
through
heart
our
and
songs,
yes.
and yeah.
Uh-huh.
yeah, more in that context. It's not usually a deliberate effort to sit down and write. I think "Give You All the Praise" was one of the deliberate ones where I sat down and said, all right, I need to put some words to this
Okay.
rhythm. But the rest of them is just a in the moment experience.
Okay. So when you get the melodies, you generally work them out on the guitar.
Sometimes.
Okay. Yes.
Because the guitar is still
Uh,
kinda ish new to me. I wouldn't say that all of them I use a guitar when writing.
okay.
Center of my life, definitely I wasn't playing the guitar at that time. So that was a different process.
Okay.
But do you claim it? Those two particularly were done with the guitar nearby. God will, I received a rhythm from a friend called Theo Tomlinson. He's the producer, and I listened to it a few times. It was there for more than a month actually before I started writing anything.
Okay.
Same thing would Give You All the Praise. So the process is different depending on
Yes.
the type of song.
And the type of song, yes. Okay. So, what is your goal for ministering in music?
Well, the ultimate goal is to bring everybody closer to God and to remind them that Jesus is coming soon. But outside of that,
Uh-huh.
definitely I would, or I'm hoping for the opportunity to minister internationally. I mean, I've been to Antigua, I've been to the Bronx before and ministered, but to have a wider reach,
Yes.
to get my music out there more and bless more people. Um, I've also I've also launched a podcast, so it's not just music.
Uh-huh.
I launched a podcast recently called Kingdom Creatives, which is geared towards encouraging and educating other fellow creatives, not just within the music arena, but whatever talent it is that they've been given, just tips and words of encouragement. I also started a t-shirt business called Plugged In. So there are more things within the Flavia Beswick ministry
Yes.
outside of just
The
music.
music, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And how has the podcast been going? I find that podcasts are very popular these days. How has your one been going?
It's been going good. I mean, granted, I need to promote it more, but it's been going
Mm-hmm.
good. Surprisingly, one of the country that's been streaming it the most and downloading it the most is India.
Okay, interesting.
So if
Yes.
there's anybody listening from India right now, bless you. But yeah, India, I didn't expect that, and I'm really happy about that because it just shows that, with all the channels that we have right now, the
Yes.
reach is endless.
Yes, indeed, indeed. Yes. So, if there is someone who wants to get into music, they are young and growing up, and they think they have a liking to music, and they want to get into it professionally. What sort of advice would you give to them?
Firstly, it might sound cliche, but I start everything off by telling people make sure that they pray about it.
Yes.
Because a lot of people take on things that they really weren't called to do just because they like it.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Um, and it's not saying because if you want to sing at church, that's fine. But if God didn't call you to do a particular thing, it's going to be a lot harder for you. A lot of people wonder why they have to be struggling so much to get a bus
Mm-hmm.
or however they word it. Um, It might just be because you're functioning in the wrong lane.
Yes.
You're not functioning in your calling. So make sure that it's something that you've prayed about. My next advice is to research, get to understand the music business, and a part of that, I'll go on to say, as best as possible, try to own your music. For those of you who write, if you write music, try to be the executive producer. That's the person who basically spends on the music. Make sure you own it, you own the master.
Okay,
Next
yes.
thing, care for yourself, care for your craft. Um, because at the end of the day, if you want people to take you seriously, you have to take yourself seriously. And so if that means that you need to do some voice training or you need to do some music lessons, whatever it is, spend some time working on your craft, and as well as make sure that you work on your brand. Decide who you are as a person, figure out who you are as a person, who you are as a child of God, what kind of music it is that you want to push out, because gospel has different layers. Gospel music has different layers. So figure out what area you fit in and work on your brand. Start putting together a press kit and stuff. There are a lot of other things that I could probably say, but those are the most immediate things that I could think of. And again, make sure that you go prayerfully
Yes.
and get good people around you.
Yes, but you said something about owning your own music, being the executive producer. Um, I'm wondering though, how easy is that for a lot of persons who are going into music?
Well, it all depends on how your pocket is.
Okay, yeah. Or you have
Because
to have
at the
some
end of the day,
other.
the person.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that you probably have to have some other means to support the music in order to do
Well,
that. Uh-huh.
if you can, definitely, until you're in a position to stand on your own.
Yes.
Because the person who spends the most on the music, the person who books the studio time, pays the
Yes.
band, pays the producer, all of these things, they own it.
Yes.
And
So,
so you want to be able to use your music however you want to use it, whenever you want to use it, in whatever way you want to use it. And you will have to ask permission from whoever owns the music if you don't. So,
okay, yes.
yeah.
I realize that a lot of persons make it by way of being signed to labels and all those
Mhm.
things. And they seem to do very well, but you think it's much better when you are able to own it yourself.
Well, it all depends on what an individual wants.
Yes.
Personally, I think that artists have more power when they own their content. Not saying that they should
Uh-huh.
push out their stuff in an isolated way, because partnerships are good.
Yes.
But you want to be in a place where you can control how your music is used,
Okay, yes.
right? You want to be in that place of power to, because it's your music at the end of the day. Um, but if you're just starting out, definitely there's nothing wrong with partnering with different producers and stuff. If you want to sign up with a label, it's entirely at your discretion. But if you're signing to somebody, make sure that you read through the contract with a
Yes.
fine tooth comb,
Yes.
because you're signing away a lot of things if you don't pay attention.
Yes, a lot of rights and other opportunities. Yes.
Exactly. I mean, it can be good, but the
Mhm.
fact is that they're going to
Yes.
own you within that particular time
Mm-hmm.
period. So you have to just know if that's something that you want,
Yes.
or if you want to go independent.
Okay. Yes. And of course, um, I've heard about persons who do recordings for different producers, etc., and they get a bag juice and KFC, and that's all they ever got from the song. you know. So we have to, what you're really saying then is that we have to, first of all, as Christians, go through with prayer, and
Definitely.
and then secondly, you need to really go into what you're doing with much research and care. And
Yes.
it might be best to get someone who is more experienced in it to give you some guidance.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, so you started out by telling me that you went to college and you are teaching music, and then you tell me about your t-shirt brand and your podcast, and so there is your music as well. How do you get the time to do all of these things?
That's a very good question. That is a very good question. Uh, well, I just have to make the time because it's what I love. It's what I love. And so I just have to find the time. Granted, sometimes it's harder than other times
Yes.
to, pencil in when would be the good time, the best time to record, or when would be well, for the podcast, it's still recording. What time do I have to do editing, uh, stuff like that,
Yes.
but it's what I love. And so I have to make the time because if I don't make the time, nobody else can do it.
Yes, yes, yes.
So yeah, a big part of it is just um I love what I do.
Okay.
I love what I do, and then as a result, I have to just find a way to make it work.
Yes, indeed, yes. And now you also told me about your intention at the beginning to have gone into music production. Just listening to you talking, I believe you're the type of person who do not give up a goal or an interest. So, have you been doing anything about that since you have been mixing with music producers and persons who run the consoles and all of those things?
Well, I've definitely been learning a lot over the years. A very important the person who plays a very important role in my music right now, Wilton James, who produced Claim It and Dew. Uh, he has taught me a lot, production wise. Of course,
Okay.
there's still a lot for me to learn.
Yes.
But the knowledge that I've gotten from him has definitely put me in a place where I wouldn't necessarily have to go to a studio to record. I can do
Okay.
it from the comfort of my home.
Wow.
I think that's another tip that I would give artists: get your own equipment.
Yes, 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 indeed.
I mean, of course, at some point you definitely want a different experience, especially with more professional equipment.
Yes.
But if you have at least the basic stuff, let's say within this COVID situation,
Yes.
you can stay at home and record, and you just send it off to
Get mastered or
whoever it is that's
something,
supposed to.
or
Yeah.
get
And even right now, I'm working on a song for somebody in Kenya,
Okay.
and I just recorded it in my house and I
Yes.
send it out.
That's
Right. So my another advice would be to get some stuff. You don't have to go big, but at least get a mic, a
yes.
recording interface like Focusrite,
Yes. And
and
the
a good
computer is
computer.
the computer is a key thing in
Yeah,
that.
and of course the software to record.
Yes. Yes.
Currently, I use Studio One, but there are a number of others that they can use. So those are some simple things that they could probably start off with.
Okay, very interesting. So as we would say in Jamaica here, yeah, go on big with big things, man.
don't know about that, but I'm definitely not giving up.
Yes, yes, yes. And you seem like someone who is very self-reliant and very independent in a way. Of course, you made it clear that you believe in getting help when you need it, but I see that you
Definitely.
are someone who loves to do things for yourself when you can.
Definitely. And I like to know how things work, and the only way to do that is to be in the midst of it.
Okay, yes, of course, of course. Yes. Um, which two of your songs would you like us to play for the listeners?
You and God will.
Okay, okay. Yes, so we will share those two with those who are listening today. They may have heard it before on the station, but we will share it with them today so that they can um, get more accustomed with it. No, they can put the personality then to the song that they are listening to. Yes.
Eh,
Okay.
appreciate.
Yes, and we look forward to hearing from you in the future. But as we close out, could you tell us what can we expect from Flavia Beswick for the near future? You say you do a song per year for the most part. When will an album be coming on stream, if any, in the near future?
All right. Well, definitely you can always expect quality music. I've always tried to make sure that whatever is released is of good quality. We are working on a project currently. Hopefully, it will be released this year, God willing. Um, and Dew is a part of the project. We did a live recording, and I'm excited to share the songs that we recorded. So hopefully this year, and of course, for those of you who haven't already started listening to the podcast, definitely more tips and words of encouragement for creatives who wish to tune in.
Okay, so if someone wants to get in touch with you, where can they find Flavia Beswick?
Well, I'm on Instagram as Flavia Beswick Music. I'm on Facebook, Flavia Beswick. I'm on Twitter, although I barely use that.
Yeah.
Um, you can also email me at flaviabeswickministries@gmail.com. And definitely, as soon as I see a message, I will do my best to respond in a timely manner. But and my music is everywhere. So if
Okay,
you're
yes.
willing to listen on Spotify, Deezer,
Mm-hmm.
TuneCore, well, not TuneCore, but you get the gist. It's
Yes, yes,
everywhere.
yes, yes.
So wherever you listen to your music from, it's there. So yeah.
Okay. And the good thing about the music industry, it has evolved to the stage where a singer or an artist doesn't have to necessarily depend on a promoter to uh, get your music out there anymore. You can do it for yourself now, with all the
Definitely.
platforms.
Definitely. And all my songs are on my YouTube channel as well, Flavia Beswick. So if you type in Flavia Beswick in the browser, you will see everything.
Okay, okay, yes, yes. Well, I thank you so much, Flavia, for speaking with us today. You have really flavored the program. Uh, yeah, so thank you so much, and I look forward to talking with you in the future, especially when your new album comes out, that new project, and I'm sure you will let us get it to play on the air as well. So we look forward to talking with you again soon.
All right, no problem, man. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
You're most welcome. God bless. 24/7. Day and night. 24/7. Sleeping or awake. Gospel City. 24/7.